Remember when everyone would ask you when you were little, what do you want to be when you grow up? And now we're grown up and don't know what we're doing with our lives? Hi, my name is Madeline and I am a college and career life coach. I help high school students, college students, and other young adults navigate the confusion that is life after graduation. Whether it's choosing your first career path or changing to a new career path, I am here to help you figure out what it is that you are doing with your life. So, welcome, get comfortable, and let's hang out together. Welcome back to the podcast. I'm so happy to have you here today. It is the night before my birthday, and I am recording this for you because, full transparency, I'm a little behind on my podcast recordings. So I am recording this so that I don't have to work on my birthday. Yeah, so welcome. Thank you for being here. And that leads me right into my topic today because I am turning 25 and I'm officially halfway through my 20s. That's kind of crazy, kind of scary, not gonna lie. But our topic of the day is what is some of the best work advice for someone in their 20s? And now that I have lived a little, I feel like I have a little bit of experience that I can share with you guys. And you may be expecting me to say something like, oh, pick a job you love, make sure you have work life balance, make sure you have benefits in a high paying job. Yeah, I could say all of those things. All of those things are important. But I feel like there is a greater topic to be touched on today. I'm halfway through my 20s and I'm just now in a career that I feel like represents what I want for myself long term. So it took me this long to figure out what that was and to finally go for it. Like 10 years ago, I was in high school, probably a sophomore, starting to think about, what career I wanted to do. And there were a lot of things that I did not know then that I know now that I wish I would have considered. So, if you're listening to this and you're in high school, it's okay to not have it all figured out yet. If you're listening to this and you're in your 20s, it's okay to not have it all figured out yet. Our 20s is the time for trial and error. Our 20s is the time where we are going to try new things, possibly not be good at them, and then find something else that's new that we can try. That's honestly what I did when I quit my job. I said, okay, I know what this job can provide for me. I've worked it. I know what it's like day in and day out. I'm familiar with that, right? And I'm not really sure that I'm liking it. So I decided to quit my job and temporarily leave the x ray field and try starting my own business and doing my own college and career coaching. And my whole thought process was it's not going to hurt to try it. It's not going to hurt to try it out and see if it's a good fit for me. And if it's not, then I have x ray to fall back on. I'm making sure that I don't let my certification fall through the cracks just in case I do decide to go back. And I may have some opportunities coming up that will allow me to take x rays part time and still work on my business. So you never know. If you guys have not seen Rainn Wilson, aka Dwight from The Office, talk about your 20s and how it's a time of trial and error, you need to listen to him talk about it because everything he said is so true. Like, this is our time to be trying new things and to possibly be bad at the majority of them in order to find what it is that we do like. And I just think a lot of people have put pressure on themselves, whether it be from societal expectations or from seeing what your peers are doing, whatever the case may be. I feel like a lot of us have put pressure on ourselves to have it figured out already, when in reality, this is the time that we should be using to figure it out. We aren't supposed to approach this time in our lives already knowing. Like we mentioned in my last podcast interview with Lindsay Davis, there's this expectation that you graduate and you're immediately supposed to know what you're doing, and that's not true. It's okay to feel like you don't know what you're doing, you don't have it figured out yet, and that does not mean that you're a failure. That just means you are a human being living life, and you're in a normal course that everyone else has traveled before. And I want to stress this to the people kind of like myself who don't have a whole lot of responsibilities right now. Like my responsibilities right now consist of keeping my snake alive and paying my bills because I do have a house payment. So that's about it. Like I don't have kids. I do have a long-term partner that I've been with for many years, but he takes care of himself. I take care of me. We're not married. We don't have kids. Like I am not in a position where I have a lot of responsibilities right now. And that thankfully is part of what allowed me to have the opportunity to quit my job to try something new. So if you are also like me and you are young and you have less responsibilities, this is our time to try new things and to see what works. This is one of the best times for us to take a leap, take a risk, try that new thing, and see what the world has for you. And there is a good chance that that new thing may not work out. So don't take it so seriously if something does not work out. It is okay. If something doesn't work out today, that is just creating space for something to work out in the future, right? When I quit my job, was offered a couple different social media management positions. And while I thought that was awesome, I didn't necessarily want to go that route because it just didn't feel right for me. And something my coach had to talk me through is that it's awesome that people see you and they want to work with you, but the things that don't work out are just creating more room in the future for the bigger and better things that will work out. So I actually welcome things to not work out, and I try not to be hurt by that because I know that just means there's something bigger and better coming my way. So like I said before, when I was contemplating leaving my job, I knew that I would rather try something totally new and see if I liked it than to not try anything at all and stay stagnant in the same miserable position I was in, because I was quite miserable. So I'm going to insert the audio from the video that I made when I announced to my friends and family that I was quitting my job. Hello, everyone. I am recording this before I go into work today. But if you're seeing this, that means I have already put in my 2 weeks. And I just wanted to get on here and update everybody on what's going on in my life, because there's a lot, a big change right now that I'm going through. Recently, I have not been feeling happy in my job. Nothing to do with my employer, but everything to do with me and how I want my life to look. And I realized that this job was not in alignment with what I had envisioned for myself any longer. And so I decided to make a change. And it's scary to come to that decision, because I realized that to get to the point where I want to be, I'm going to have to make a lot of scary and risky decisions, but this is only the start of them. So I just wanted to basically get on here and tell people, like, don't be afraid to pursue the life of your dreams. It's never too late to start, and it's never too early to start. Start now, start today. Life is short, and I just want to be successful, and success is whatever I define it as. And so I just wanted to let people know, like, success and the pathway to success is not like cookie cutter cutouts. Like, It looks different for everybody. And my road to success and happiness in life and this short life is going to look a lot different than the next person. And I know people may not agree with me when I, decided to quit my job and pursue an online business that I am launching. So that's okay. Not everybody's going to get it. Not everybody's going to support me. Not everybody is going to agree with me. And that's okay, because I support myself. I believe in myself. And I agree with myself. And I feel like this next step is really in alignment with where I want to be in this life. So that's just what I wanted to get on here to say. I'm going to put more information in the comments about the business that I am launching. So feel free to message me with any questions. And I hope this is an inspiration to someone who may be in the same situation that I am. Making that video not only made me very relieved and very happy to finally share my burdens and my current struggles, but also even further, it held me accountable to make the proper change in my life that I so desperately deserved. Publicly being my own supporter, knowing that people could disagree with me and look down upon me for it, it was extremely hard. And I was terrified to post that video, I remember, because I was like, oh God, people are going to judge me. They're going to be like, girl, what are you doing? Like, this is not a good decision. Because to be honest, on paper, it's not a good decision. But I didn't care about that. I care about my long term happiness. And I knew that something big had to change in order for me to pursue the life that I knew I deserved. Aside from being scary, though, it was incredibly liberating, like I said, to just release those burdens and be transparent about what I was currently struggling with in my life. Because I was really miserable. I was crying every day and hating my life on the job. Like, I just can't even put into words how discouraged I was at that point in my life, because I felt like I was stuck in a job that I did not want to be in anymore. And you know what the best part was about posting that video? Was the absolute outpouring of support from friends and family, but also like friends that I had not spoken to in years. And they're commenting on my video and they're like, I'm so proud of you. You are so brave. You're doing the right thing. Like, yes, keep going. So that was really awesome to see such a huge amount of support from my loved ones. And that surprised me. Like I said, I was expecting a bunch of negative feedback, and I was blessed beyond my expectations when I saw all the positive comments. So if you are thinking about doing something but you're afraid of being judged, just go for it. You never know who could see what you're doing and really, really get behind you and support you. I thought I was going to have nobody supporting me, and I had tons of people supporting me. So your situation might play out the same way. You never know who's got your back until you give them the opportunity to have your back. At the end of the day, I didn't care what other people were going to say, even though I expected them to say bad things. I didn't care. I trusted myself, and I believe that others understood that, and they respected me even more for it and showed their love and support for my decision. So, whether somebody else would make that decision for themselves or not, if you are showing up authentically and 100% trusting yourself in the decision that you're about to make, I think a lot of times people will just have respect for that and get behind you and say, look, what you're doing is crazy, but I got your back. Another important thing to remember here is that success is what you define it as. It's different for everyone. It's going to look different for everyone. I actually made a podcast episode on this, my very, very first podcast episode. So if you want to hear me talk more about that, then tune into my first podcast episode called Two Things Most People Don't Understand About Success. If you're contemplating making a big move in life, whether it's changing careers, making a lifestyle change, whatever that thing is that gives you a knot in your stomach, what would your life look like if you made that change and took that leap? Would it make your life more beautiful and more enjoyable? Because if it does, then you should probably go for it. Some of you may be saying, but what if? What if it doesn't work out? What if it doesn't make me happy? What if it doesn't benefit me in the ways that I thought it would? But what if it does? Recognize that your brain's job is to keep you safe, right? So your brain is going to give you those thoughts and be like, hey, hold on, like, is this really a good decision that we're about to make? Like, I was scared and nervous to quit my job because my brain was like, whoa, we are losing our steady income. But I knew that that was just natural anxiety, and I wanted to explore that uncharted territory, even though it was terrifying, and take that leap of faith. Because at the end of the day, I knew it was just anxiety talking to me. I was able to counter those questions in my brain with, what if it does work out? What if it does make me happy? What if it does bring in more money than I was making? What if it does benefit me in more ways than I can imagine? You won't know until you try it. And you may get there and realize that it's not everything that you thought it would be. And that's okay too. I accepted that risk when I decided to quit my job. But you came, you saw, you conquered, and now you know what isn't the right path for you. And you can go back to what you were doing, or you could try the next new thing. That's where the whole trial and error process comes in. Because what's the worst that could happen when you're taking these risks? This is something my coach had to help me through because my brain likes to spiral, okay? Something I have been worrying about ever since I quit my job is money. Am I going to have enough money to pay my bills? What if I lose my house? What if I end up on the street? That's what I was thinking. And that's my anxiety talking, trying to keep me safe. So, what do we do when that happens? We argue with it. Argue with yourself. What if I don't lose my house? What if I don't end up on the street? What if my money invested in this business is returned to me tenfold and I have more than enough money to buy myself another house if I wanted to? Not that I would, but I mean, I'm just saying. Knowing my energetic minimums has also played a huge role in calming my anxiety when it comes to doing these scary things and taking the leaps and trying the new things. My coach has also helped me with the energetic minimums because I didn't know what they were until I started working with her, right? And I feel like in the future I may make more episodes on this, but I'm still in the middle of mastering my energy and understanding it all, so now is not the time yet. But an energetic minimum is like the bare minimum that you will allow for yourself around anything in life. While I had these irrational what ifs floating through my mind, I had to snap myself back into reality and ask myself what was actually true. What's true for me is I can never imagine myself losing my house. I can never imagine myself not being able to pay my bills and not being able to pay my bills on time for that matter. And at this point now that I've gotten a taste of the entrepreneur life, I will never allow myself to work for someone else ever again. Those are all the energetic minimums that I have. Those are my personal standards, if you will. I guess that's another way to look at it. Because I won't allow that to happen and can never see that happening to myself, my energy around that begins to align and agree. When my money has gotten to a lower point, somehow, some way, I have stumbled upon more money opportunities. So my entire point here is, what's the worst that could happen if you take a risk? You know, you and your energy won't allow you to lose your house or your car or be on the streets or not pay your bills. You have to give yourself and the universe slash God slash whoever you whatever higher being that you believe in, you have to give them more credit. The worst case scenario you're dreaming of isn't even really what you're available for. It's just a scare tactic from your brain to keep you safe. And we can thank our brain for that because it essentially does keep us safe. But another thing my coach always says, logical decisions are going to lead to a logical life. I have to be okay with making illogical decisions sometimes because I know that I am meant for something extraordinary. But we have that protective feature for a reason. And it's important to have discernment around when we listen to our anxiety and when we don't. I obviously know that's not easy. And I'm still working on it myself. I guess this wasn't really a whole lot of actual work advice. um, but I feel like it's so easy for us as young adults to be led down the same path as everybody else. And just because it's normalized and it's what we are quote unquote supposed to do. So that's why I stress so much like not being afraid to take risks, not being afraid to follow illogical plans because nobody else is going to tell you to do that. Nobody else in my life wanted me to quit my job. Well, I don't want to say nobody, but the majority of people in my life did not want me to quit my job. But it's the best decision I ever made. Changing my career path was the best decision I ever made. And at the end of the day, you just can't forget to choose yourself. Choose you first. Choose your happiness. Choose your well being. Choose your peace. I had to choose me with the fear that nobody would support me. Yet, because I finally chose me and was in alignment with myself and my desires, an outpouring of love and support followed that. And I could have never imagined that for myself. I would have never imagined that I would have the opportunity to receive such positive interactions with so many of my loved ones and such incredible support from them. Good things fall into place easily when you prioritize yourself, your desires, your peace, your happiness, and your well being. I learned that firsthand. The more you align with yourself and your desires and your interests, the more life aligns with you because it's all an energetic practice. So, I guess my work advice summarized into one sentence is don't be afraid to choose you, even if it looks different from what everybody else is doing. If you are in a situation where you need to talk to someone about your career, about life in general, whatever the case may be, I'm here for you. I would love to talk to you. I offer a free 30-minute call. I will put the link down in the show notes so that we can chat and meet each other and see what's going on with you and see if we can figure out a solution for you because it can feel incredibly lonely when everybody is following the same path and you are having this tug on your heart to try something different. In the meantime, stay safe and let's hang out again soon.